Hello everyone, Thurman here from Measured. I've made it my quest to discover the best ingredients and drinks in the spirits industry. So of course, we teamed up with GRADA's very own Clara Santiago, their head of coffee, to take us on the journey and teach you how we go from farm to bottle to cocktail. So now it's time to talk about the roasted bean. It's probably the form of coffee you're most familiar with. And if you've been following along, you'll understand how much time and work it's taken to get to this point. So Clara, why do we roast a bean?
Well, Thurman, after describing the whole rigorous process of what it takes to get a processed bean, we now want to get all those flavors out that I've been talking about, that complexity, acidity, body, and that's what the roasting process is going to help us do. It's going to help us release those aromatic flavors into a roasted form. So
do you mind giving us a little bit more technical understanding of the roasting process?
Sure. So we're looking for three main, I would say, events in the roast that are really important. And that's color change, caramelisation or maillard, and crack. So the coffee gets dumped, it drops in temperature, and then we need to look for it to come back up, so the temperature rising. So all of that cold coffee has cooled down the barrel of the roaster, but eventually it'll heat back up. And so as it's coming back up, we look for color change. And that's when the bean goes from green to yellow. And you actually smell it as well, the color change. It smells kind of like hay or grass. And so that's the first event that we look for. Now, in between color change and crack, we have caramelization. So that's when all the sugars are developing, and that is a really important part too, and you want it to be controlled. You don't want it to happen too quickly because you can bake the coffee, which looks cooked on the outside, but it hasn't developed on the inside. So it's really important that we control the temperature up to first crack in that caramelization period. And then the third and last one is the crack, is that popcorn sound that we hear when we're roasting coffee. And the coffee's telling you that all the moisture it's had, that it can possibly get rid of, has been popped out. And so they're the three main events that we look for in a roast and what makes a roasting profile.
And when it comes to roasting, I guess I feel at least I'm familiar with the ideas of light, medium, and dark.
Yeah.
What does those differences in roast mean exactly?
Yeah, so you've mentioned the three roasting profiles that we're quite familiar with. So the first one is a light roast, and it's what we use for filter coffee. So the pour over, batch brew, or the mockmaster, AeroPress, but those are what we consider filter roasts, and we want to keep them as light and as acidic as we can. And that just preserves more of the acidic flavors and the fruity flavors, so you can get that tea-like structure when you're drinking a filter coffee. But then we move on to medium, and then we're getting into the espresso roasts, the category of espresso roasts. So medium roasts are what most cafes would use, what most specialty cafes would use, because you haven't quite roasted it too much where it's toasty and too full-bodied and overwhelmingly strong in its presence on your palate, but you haven't quite under-roasted it where you've got those overwhelmingly acidic flavors coming through. So you've hit a sweet spot. And then we go to dark roast, and that's what is more associated with the Italian kind of style espresso, of what like the Italians brought into the Australian coffee culture in the 70s, that kind of really bitter, strong, potent like espresso.
And what recipe do you guys use for GRADA? What type of roast?
Yeah, so we're using that medium roast. So we want to hit that sweet spot of sweetness, a little bit of acidity, not too much, and that body that carries through in a GRADA.
So I've actually done a little GRADA and tonic, which I think those notes pair so perfectly with the bitterness and sweetness of tonic.
Yeah, I mean, the GRADA and tonic is inspired by a coffee that we came up a few summers back, where we would add filter coffee with tonic. And we're like, wow, this is delicious. So of course, GRADA and tonic, it just makes sense.
Well, cheers to the roast. It's so good. And stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about the grind.